Hello guys, so today we'll be exploring the field of finance with the help of AI. The topic of decision tree in finance is very much vital. So we'll explore this field today. Along with me today I have Meghashrita, Banvi, Raghav and myself Dhaval. So we'll start.
A decision tree program for forecasting stock performance is applied to Compustat's global financial statement data, augmented with International Monetary Fund data. The hypothesis is that certain Compustat variables will be most used by the decision tree program and will provide insight as to how to make investing decisions. Surprisingly, the experiments show that the most frequently used variables come from the International Monetary Fund and that variables provided exclusively for financial industries stocks were not useful for forecasting financial stock performance. These experiments might be part of a constellation of such experiments that help people map financial forecasting problems to the variables most useful for solving those problems. The research shows the value of using decision tree methodologies as applied to finance.
Decision trees in the management sciences are used to model the likely consequences of various decisions for a particular problem domain. The decision tree models will often help users to investigate how each feature weighs in the decision making process and uncover the logical relations between the features and the classified results. For instance, in an effort to improve the efficiency of call centers, researchers have created a decision tree to help identify the factors that will the most crucial in influencing the performance of the call center.
For decades, researchers have been identifying patterns in accounting data and predicting stock returns by exploiting those patterns. Some research shows that investors make false assumptions about companies with extreme book to market values and with large accruals. To earn above average returns, Piotrowski in 2000 first identified high BM stocks and then ones with strong financial fundamentals. Sloan in 1996 showed that stock prices do not adequately reflect extraordinary items in the accruals and said stock prices are found to act as if investors fixate on earnings, failing to reflect full information contained in the accrual and cash flow components of current earnings until that information impacts future earnings. Guldi and Hermesmeer in 2010 applied Piotrowski's method to stocks in Brazil, but find it prudent to put different weights on the independent financial variables. High BM stocks are considered value stocks because they are deemed to be undervalued relative to their assets, while low BM stocks are considered growth stocks. To successfully forecast which stocks will be high earners, Mohan Ram in 2005 first screens for growth stocks and then identifies which independent financial variables can be used to forecast high earners among the growth stocks.
Benish et al. In 2001 emphasized the role of context in the selection of financial independent variables to be fed in a weathercasting algorithm. For instance, Petrovsky found one set of independent financial variables worked for high BM stocks, but Mohan Ram found a different set of independent financial variables worked for low BM stocks. Extreme performance can be characterized by different formulas that can be non-extreme and on one category of stocks is different from the what best models performance of other category of stocks. Benish et al. Argue that given a category of stocks, a unique formula might best predict how stocks in that category will perform.
The literature suggests that published methods to exploit anomalies are subsequently used by market players until the method ceases to work. Thus, the independent financial variables that are best for forecasting stock values may vary across time. The adaptive market model accounts for this evolutionary character of markets. In addition to being sensitive to time, the variables that might influence stock prices are many. And another approach to the problem presented here would be to compartmentalize the variables into knowledge marts.
We are using 36 financial statement variables. The variables were chosen directly from common financial statement attributes that are publicly available. They were identified as adequately covering the essential components of the financial statement. They include popular items such as total revenue and operating expense, as well as less popular items such as net items total. Net items total represent the income statement variable that sums the value of other component variables representing equity in earnings, pre-acquisition profits, and other net items.
The financial ratios may be categorized as leverage, management, profitability, liquidity, and market. For this work, three financial ratios were chosen from each category to represent the range of ratios. The computed 16 ratios from the 36 CompuStat financial variables. These ratios include operating cash flow upon total assets as a profitability ratio, current assets as to current liabilities as a liquidity ratio, and operating expense as to inventory as our management ratio.
After the ratio and proportional gains have been computed, every independent variable is discretized into one of 5 categories. The discretization may be viewed as occurring through the following steps for a given variable in a given year. First, all the values for a set of stocks are collected. Second, quintile boundaries are determined. Third, the values of each variable are translated to a 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 categories depending on the quintile to which the values belong. Fourth, one way to conceptualize the data is as a three-dimensional array where one axis is for the different companies, another axis for the financial variables, including IMF variables, and the third axis is for the different years. In the final discretized version of the data, all values were sorted as integers in the range of 1 to k. Fifth, for forecasting year k plus 1 returns based on year k data, the year k price plus dividend variable is independent, while the year k plus 1 price plus dividend variable is dependent.
Within the artificial intelligence, a decision tree algorithm is a classification method where the induction process constructs a flowchart-like structure where each internal non-leaf node denotes a test on an attribute, each branch corresponds to an outcome of the test, and each external leaf node denotes a class prediction. A decision tree has decision nodes and terminal nodes, and branching occurs between these nodes. So the three major factors here are decision nodes, also called as the non-leaf nodes. The decision node is an attribute from the data set being analyzed. The attribute chosen for the root node carries the most predictive power, while the nodes at each subsequent level contain diminishing predictive abilities. The terminal nodes. These are also called as the leaf nodes. These nodes are the last nodes presented on the tree and represent the outcome which will come as a measure or the actual decision which will come. And the third part is the branching. The branching is also existent from each decision node to the next decision node of a terminal node. For the categorical data, the branching is dependent on the cardinality of the attribute. Decision trees are built and tested in two phases. So the first is the learning phase. The learning phase that analyzes historical data in building the decision tree, and the testing phase is the second phase where the accuracy is computed and generalizability of the model is determined.
The most famous decision tree learning algorithm is Quinlan's ID3 algorithm, which was given by Quinlan in 1986. The algorithm operates over a set of training instances and uses information theory to decide which attribute to split the instances. The algorithm divides the instances as evenly as possible among the values of the attribute. Attributes are chosen repeatedly in this way until a complete decision tree that classifies every instance is obtained. The algorithm introduced in this paper is very similar to ID3 except that focuses on accurately identifying only training instances in one category rather than trying to accurately identify all categories of the training instance. If the algorithm is told that the stocks in the category strong buy are most important to accurately classify, then it chooses splitting attributes that maximize the likelihood of correctly identify strong buying stocks, regardless of how the algorithm might perform on the stocks in the training set that are in some other category than strong buy. The algorithm is called strong buy decision tree. The problem is to correctly classify stocks as strong buy when they might fall into one of the 5 categories: strong buy, hold, sell, and strong sell.
The ID3 algorithm would compute information gain based on the frequencies of all the stocks to be classified at each juncture. When finished, the algorithm will have produced a decision tree for correctly classifying as many stocks as possible. In the SBDT algorithm, the ID3 gain function is replaced with the SBDT function that looks for how many stocks are correctly classified as strong buy. A decision that might lead to correctly classifying many stocks as hold is not considered as valuable as one that correctly selects strong buy stocks.
So now the question asked by this research was, what attributes would be most useful in decision tree and would the useful attributes be different in different contexts? So how does one compare the attributes chosen for two different decision trees? The approach taken here is to divide tree into rules that describe the path a decision might take place in going from the root of the decision tree to a leaf node. The first splitting attribute chosen by the decision tree learning will appear in every rule. The attributes chosen deeper in the tree will appear less often in the rules. Once the tree has been decomposed into rules, the next step in trying to come to a simple comparison between the two different trees is to convert each rule's if clause into a simple list of attribute names without regard to the test that was made in the rule of the value of the attribute and without regard to the order in which the attributes appear in the if clause.
Data was collected for all the stocks for years 2004 and 2005 and for the information technology and finance sectors for years 2000 and 2004. For the global samples, approximately 20,000 stocks had enough data for analysis, whereas for each of the finance and information technology sectors, the number of stocks with enough data was approximately 2,000. 3 trees were built for each year for each stock sample, and thus 18 decision trees were generated. The trees were constrained to have a depth no greater than 4. The trees were translated into rules and the occurrence of each variable noted.
Decision trees were generated for all the financial stocks in the year 2000 and 2004. However, none of the decision trees contained any variable that was unique to financial companies. The financial sector was also compared to the information technology sector. The pattern of variables from these two sectors is very different. The earnings per share and inventory variables dominate the information technology sector, while the financial sector was dominated by the inflation and accounts payable. This demonstrates that the decision rules for the two industries use different variables.
The decision tree program that was built for this experiment uses a variant of the classic ID3 by changing the gain function from one that looks for the best of overall accuracy of the program to one that tries only to identify the highest performing stocks. From the decision trees, rules were extracted. Each rule might be perceived as a sequence of variables. The program has tallied how often each variable appeared in a rule. Future work will improve and extend the customized ID3 algorithm as well as compare its performance with other decision tree and machine learning algorithms.
So the decision trees offer attractive opportunities to forecast stock performance relative to certain variables. The results show various surprising results that deserve further attention, which will be addressed in future work. More generally, this work helps one appreciate how the financial variables that are the most useful in forecasting stock performance vary with the industry being analyzed and with the algorithm used to do the forecasting. So this was all about the decision trees in finance. Thank you. And this was our team. Once again, I'll introduce to everyone. We had Meghashrita Das, Bhanvi Suryavanshi, Raghav Sharma, and myself, Dhawal Barcha. Thanks a lot.